Hello, my name is Mark Nardelli. Alex Nardelli is my son, and I must say it's a miracle that both myself and my son are here to even tell this story. My grandfather's name was Antonio Avini, and he was born and raised in Sicily, and he emigrated to the United States back in the early 1910 to 1913 time frame. And I'll tell you, it's a miracle that he even was able to emigrate, because when he was a teenager in Sicily, there was a terrible earthquake, and he was the only person in his building to survive this earthquake because he got under a desk, an 18-inch desk, and it saved his life. Everyone else in the building died. Even after that, Antonio was lucky to be alive. He, after immigrating to the United States, had to join the United States Army and go back over to Europe to fight against, among other countries, his homeland. My grandfather met his wife-to-be in Italy before he emigrated, and he had to wait 7 long years until his bride-to-be could come over and marry him and live with him in the United States. 7 years, it's amazing, they stayed together. She was to become my grandmother, and they were both the parents of my mother, Margaret Avini. My mother met a man named James Nardelli, and I must say, they met in high school, and they had one heck of a whirlwind romance. Even after my father joined the U.S. Army for World War II and had to leave her and go to Europe for a couple years, it was amazing how their romance continued. And we have many love letters to prove it. And it's just fascinating for us to go back and read those letters about how much they loved each other during a time of war. Just an amazing story. And the other thing about my father is that he enjoyed his time in Europe. There were many good moments he spent in France and Germany particularly. However, he did see combat duty. He did not like to discuss the times he was in combat, and he was definitely in danger many times. And he actually was wounded in his foot, only 1/2 inch below his ankle. Had the bullet punctured his ankle, he never would have walked again. They call it a $1 million wound. It's just remarkable that he made it through these combat times the way he did, and still enjoyed his time in Europe during World War II. After World War II ended, my parents were able to settle into a nice married life in Altoona, Pennsylvania. They started a family and raised 3 children. My older sister Isabel, myself, as I said, who is Mark, and my younger brother James Jr. Even in my own personal case, I'm very lucky to still be here, as when I was 6 years old playing in the playground near outside our backyard, I ran in front of someone pitching horseshoes, and sure enough I was hit right in the head with a horseshoe. And I'm lucky it wasn't worse, but there was a trail of blood all the way from the playground to my house. And I recall my mother screaming, "My son! My son!" And I had to be rushed to the hospital and stitched up with about 13 stitches. Later on in my life, I had a student deferment during the brunt of the Vietnam War. I went to Penn State, so I had a 4-year student deferment. However, the last year, my draft number was 85, and once I graduated from Penn State, my student deferment expired. And even though the Nixon administration said they probably wouldn't go past the number 50 that year, they ended up going past 85. So I was one of the last people in the United States to be drafted. They had not drafted anybody since. One thing that's a little comical, I was not the best Army person to go through basic training. I had a difficult time firing my weapon at night, which is called night fire. I did okay during the day, barely, but night fire I just couldn't get the hang of it. I couldn't hit any of the targets. So after flunking that a couple times, my drill sergeant told me I would have to be recycled the whole way back into basic training if I didn't pass it the next time. So what I did, I somehow talked one of my platoon mates into wearing my helmet liner with the name Nardelli on the back of it, and he went and shot night fire for me and got great passing marks at that. Ultimately, it's quite remarkable that my ancestors and myself were able to survive long enough to pass down our genes to my son Alex Nardelli.